Thanks. Hello, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I know that everyone is quite busy at this time of year with end of semester for school, holidays, other stuff going on. I know I certainly am as well too, but we're grateful that you are joining us this evening. I am here with Steve Bodner and Anastasia Sopchak from the William G. Pomeroy Foundation. And we have been working with them the last couple of years now. It's a great organization, and they are going to explain a little bit more about their educational offerings, specifically around the historical marker program that they have been running for some years now. The agenda, our goal is to have you out of here by 8:30 East EST time, hopefully even a little bit earlier than that. But in a second here, I'm going to pass it over to Steve, who's going to give you just a little bit of information about the Pomeroy Foundation. He is then going to pass it along to Anastasia, who's going to do the bulk of the presentation, is going to explain to you about their programs, how you can potentially apply to pursue a historical marker for your community, what that process looks like. She's going to show some pictures from schools that have completed the process and put the marker in their town. And then after that, we're going to have a brief Q&A, and you can put your questions in the chat box, and Steve will sort of navigate that for us. We'll wrap up with a video from Kevin Klein. He's a History Club advisor from Frankton, Indiana, who his club actually participated in this last year. They went through the application process, and they placed a historical marker in their town for May Berry, who was a nurse during World War One from their town, who went overseas to Europe. I believe it was France, but they placed this marker for her last spring. So he couldn't join us this evening. He's in New York City with his wife for, I think, it's just a trip to New York City in December. But he was nice enough to record a video for us, and we'll watch that at the very end. So again, thanks for joining us, and I'm going to pass it over to you right now, Steve.
Thank you, Bob. Really appreciate that great introduction. Um, my name is Steve Bodner. I head up marketing and communications for the William G. Pomeroy Foundation. Thank you again, all of you, for joining us tonight. Thank you to the National History Club and Bob for your partnership and for hosting us. We have a really engaging presentation ahead focused on the Pomeroy Education Program and how you and your students can be part of it. All of us at the William G. Pomeroy Foundation and our founder and trustee, Bill Pomeroy, are delighted to be part of this collaboration and offer these opportunities available to History Club chapters nationwide. For those of you who might be new to us, the William G. Pomeroy Foundation is a philanthropic organization based in Syracuse, New York, and we provide fully funded grants for historical markers nationwide. The foundation's story begins with Bill Pomeroy, philanthropist, entrepreneur, and his passion for history. When Bill established the foundation 20 years ago, he chose to invest in historical markers, and today that work remains central to our mission. The Pomeroy Education Program extends that mission into the classroom by offering primary source research curriculum that guides students through historical inquiry, ultimately leading to the opportunity to apply for a fully funded Pomeroy marker. It's a powerful way for students to explore local history, fill gaps in community stories, and help preserve the past through rigorous research. As we move through tonight's presentation, I encourage all of you to think about how this initiative can enrich your History Club chapter and support your teaching goals and inspire your students. So, Pomeroy markers help highlight untold stories, honor legacies, strengthen pride of place for future generations. Every Pomeroy marker tells a story, and through this program, your students can help tell one too. We're thrilled to be with you tonight. Again, thank you for joining us. And now I am delighted to introduce my colleague and our featured presenter, Anastasia Sopchak, Research Historian and Engagement Associate for the William G. Pomeroy Foundation. Anastasia leads the Pomeroy Education Program and has done a wonderful job developing and expanding the reach to educators throughout the country. Over to you, Anastasia.
Thank you so much, Steve. I will real quick just share my screen first and share. And we will get going here. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. So, thank you so much, both Steve and Bob, for setting this up and introducing me. Um, hello, everybody, and thank you for coming and spending part of your evening with us. My name is Anastasia, again. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I have a bachelor's in English and a master's in library science. My background is in promoting literacy and helping teachers and supporting teachers. So I'm excited to be able to offer this program for you tonight and to give you some advice on how to navigate it. Okay. So today we're going to cover some background about the Pomeroy Foundation. We're going to talk about what makes the education program special, and then I'll give you just a little overview of our application process so that you can see how it works. If there's any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll have some time at the end to answer them. My contact information will also be available at the end, so you can always send me your questions directly. So the foundation was started in 2005 by Bill Pomeroy, who is pictured here. Initially started to help diversify the bone marrow donor registry following Bill's battle with leukemia. Our mission expanded to include historical roadside markers in 2006. Since then, we have funded over 3,000 markers across 49 states. So why historical markers? So Bill chose to include historical markers as a large part of his philanthropy because of the influence of his father, who often stopped to read roadside markers with Bill when he was a child. This interaction with local history made an impression, and he's had a lifelong interest in history ever since. The Foundation's mission follows in Bill's wishes to continue to share this gift of inspiration and pride of place with the future generations to come. Today, we fully fund the cost of roadside historical markers, including the poles and shipping, for 501(c)(3) organizations, nonprofit academic institutions, and local, state, and federal government entities. So markers like the ones Bill saw growing up, and like the ones we fund today, are a benefit to communities in a number of ways, some of which Steve already covered. They offer an educational benefit to the public for both visitors and locals alike. They connect new generations of learners to those who came before them, and they encourage young people to be proud of where they're from. Through dedication ceremonies, media coverage, and good PR, historical markers can help promote tourism and awareness of smaller communities that have a rich yet otherwise unseen history. So, working on marker projects benefits students specifically. Not only is the marker project an opportunity for service learning, it offers the chance to develop skills that are useful later in life, such as project management and group work. In the process of applying for the grant, the students not only practice primary source literacy and research skills, but they also get to practice things like grant writing, and they can potentially network with public historians, archivists, and other public officials. Students have used marker projects as the subject of posters and presentations at conferences, and they're able to use the work that they put into the marker research as the subject of papers and as other forms of career development. Finally, students are able to see the marker in their hometown for years to come, and they're able to say, I did that. So, so what is the Pomeroy Education Program, or PEP for short? In a nutshell, it is access to our grant programs without grant rounds. Applications are accepted on a rolling basis in order to accommodate the academic calendar. The other thing that sets the education program apart is the support that we offer for teachers. We provide two free sets of curricular resources, one for the high school level and one for the higher education level. We also offer virtual or in-person instruction sessions. Essentially, the student-led program gives instructors and students a dedicated route to apply through, and then also extra support from our staff along the way. You may recognize this photo and marker from our flyer. It was granted to students from the Frankton High School History Club, who are National History Club members, and you'll be hearing from their advisor, Kevin Klein, in a little bit. So as I mentioned, we have a free high school curriculum that was developed by a teacher for teachers. We contracted with a history teacher to develop this curriculum using the National Council for the Social Studies C3 framework and the New York State Seal of Civic Readiness Initiative. Although it can be used to fulfill the Civic Seal of Readiness initiative in New York State, the lessons are not specific to New York and can be used in any state. Um, the the curriculum includes 15 lessons that covers 3 weeks. The lessons cover public history basics, doing primary source research, evaluating sources and critical analysis skills, how to compose the marker inscription, lessons on historical context and narrative, how to plan a dedication ceremony, and last but not least, how to apply for the Pomeroy Foundation grant. So we also have resources for instructors teaching at the college level who would like to integrate a marker application into their curriculum. To make the process easier, we provide a Start Here tips guide. We have a sample syllabus and schedule. We have 6 starter PowerPoints and 6 informational handouts. These are still under development and are being pilot tested this spring in a public history intro course at Shawnee State University in Ohio. These materials are designed to encourage a higher level of critical analysis about historical narrative building and monument and marker scholarly discourse. We've recently had a handful of applications come from undergraduate, master's, and PhD students. So I know that this might not seem super relevant, but keep it in mind for the future. Um, so we have 6 signature programs, but out of those, only 4 are currently available to this student-led program. They are Hometown Heritage, Hungry for History, Historic Transportation, and New York State Historic. We are working on adding a 5th program to this, Legends and Lore, but it's not anticipated to be available until later in 2026. I do highly recommend visiting our website to view the requirements for each program before starting an application. I'm going to go through a preview of each one here, but there's a lot more information on our website that will be helpful for you. So Hometown Heritage is available in 49 states, everywhere except for New York. And it covers history that happened prior to 100 years from the year of application. So that's about to be history that occurred in 1926 and earlier. Each marker we fund features the state's shape in the logo at the top, and it has 5 lines of text plus 1 title line. These can be about any building that is still standing, or historical events or people that had an impact on the community at large. This nationwide program seeks to capture local history, especially for states without marker programs of their own, or for subjects which may not qualify for the applicant's state marker program. I'm just going to get a little water there. So we also have New York State Historic available. This is open also to history that occurred 100 years prior to the date of application, but this one is only for New York State. The New York State Historic Marker Program commemorates historic people, places, things, or events. The program also fills a gap as New York State stopped funding their roadside markers in 1939. We have seen many student-led applications in New York commemorating important people, such as Jermaine W. Logan, known as the King of the Underground Railroad, or Lee Miller, who was a World War II photojournalist. Significant locations and events are also popular, such as the Amenia conferences. We've seen many old city halls. We've seen a lot of historic schools, things like that. We also have Hungry for History available. Hungry for History commemorates unique regional food specialties that have a significant tradition persisting in an area for over 50 years from the year of application. So starting next year, that's going to be a food dish that has had an important impact on a community starting before 1976. This must be a complete food dish, a non-alcoholic drink, or a single ingredient dish, such as Blue Point oysters. We've recently approved markers commemorating food festivals as well, such as Berry Dairy Days in Washington State and Burgoo Festival in Illinois. Historic transportation commemorates the ways in which people and goods were transported prior to World War II. Bridges, tunnels, canals, railroads, and aircraft that still exist today and were built prior to 1945 will qualify for this program. We've recently seen a number of covered bridges, a couple of airmail stations, and a couple of ferries even. So next is the best part. I wanted to shout out some awesome schools that we have worked with recently. So first up is Arlington High School. Over the last 2 years, students at Arlington High School in Poughkeepsie, New York, have been awarded 16 grants for markers across Dutchess County. They worked with the Millbrook Historical Society and their instructor, Robert McHugh, to research and apply for these markers. Their subjects included people like Dr. Josephine Baker, an early female doctor and pioneer in child hygiene and health, and Smith Thompson, an Associate U.S. Supreme Court Justice and Secretary of the Navy. You may also recognize them from our flyers or social media. We love working with instructors on cross promotion and marketing to raise awareness of their students' hard work and to celebrate their achievements because they've really earned it. Next up is another group of students I'm very proud of, which is a group of eighth grade students from Albion Central Schools. They worked on a summer project this year surveying small rural cemeteries, guided by their instructor, Tim Archer. They identified a lifeguard of George Washington and have been awarded 3 markers so far to commemorate significant burials in these cemeteries. They've worked with both the Daughters and Sons of the Revolution organizations, as well as their county historian to do research on the people interred. Tim has been very proactive about getting the local news involved to promote, to promote their work, and he's also been proactive about involving public historians and officials in the students' research process, which is something that we highly recommend. If possible, having a guest speaker like a reference librarian, an archivist, or a municipal historian to come visit the class, even if it's virtual, it can be very beneficial for the class or club. So they can speak about primary source research, local history, and how to do public history in today's world, which can give students an important perspective because it's getting more and more complicated. If possible, field trips to visit museums and archives can also be beneficial, especially since some may allow you to do hands-on research with their collections, which is fun. So we also recently worked with a librarian at the Liverpool Public Library last year. They did 3 marker applications as part of their programming with homeschool students. They researched and wrote applications for significant local spots around Liverpool, New York. These were just dedicated last month in November. So in that same vein, not all student-led applications come from classes. Many come from extracurricular groups, such as student governments, clubs, or scout troops. We've had a Girl Scout troop do a railway station marker through historic transportation. And pictured here, you can see the cake that they had made for the dedication ceremony, which was very fun. We've also had a Girl Scout who worked on a marker application for her gold badge. The New York State School for the Deaf received funding for a marker for deaf education through New York State Historic as part of their 150th celebration. The Tiger Ventures student government in Binghamton, New York was awarded a marker for Speedies through Hungry for History, which is also pictured here. And again, the Frankton High School History Club did their Mayberry marker through Hometown Heritage, and we're very proud of them. So we're gonna keep showing it. So how did they get all these markers? So what you need to do, let's talk about the application process. So in order to apply, first, students are going to need to choose a subject that will qualify under our guidelines. Next, they're going to choose they're going to choose a safe location for the marker where both the marker and visitors are going to be safe from passing cars. The location can be directly related to the marker, or it can be in a general public area, provided that the marker subject is related to the entire town. They're also going to need to obtain a permission letter from the landowner, giving them permission to install the marker. Next, they'll do the research and they'll locate all the primary sources that they can. Using the sources, they'll then craft a short inscription that tells the story, or at least will pique the public's interest in learning more. They'll send all of this to us in the application, which we evaluate, and then provided it follows our guidelines for subject matter, sources, and the location, we then present it to our trustees for funding approval. So I'll go over now the most important parts of applying for our grant in a little bit of greater detail so that you have an idea of what's needed. The most important part is to review the program-specific requirements and guidelines on our website, especially for the subject and location. You also need to be a nonprofit academic institution, which all of you likely don't need to worry about as coming from schools. Some instructors will choose to partner with a local historical society who applies on their behalf due to sometimes complex regulations surrounding receiving grant funding at their school. You may want to talk to your administration about what rules they may have governing that ahead of time. I also want to make you aware of the required primary sources and the land use permission letters. Every marker that we fund requires a land use permission letter from the landowner giving explicit permission for the marker to be installed on their land. It's important to secure this early on in the process. Local government is not always known for its speed. So if the marker is going to be going on municipal property, you'll probably want to start their approval process early. Markers that are going to go along roadways are very often in the public right of way, making them municipal property. So you'll want to check where the property lines run and be sure you know who owns the land and get the appropriate permission letter. We also require every marker to be supported by primary sources that were created at the time of the event. Every fact that goes on a marker is going to need to have a contemporary source submitted to support it. The student-led research is the foundation of this program and one of the most critical parts of the application. So I do encourage you, please take the time to review what we accept as primary, which is detailed on our website. And if you have questions about that, feel free to contact me. So our application is online only. We use a software called Fountain, which you can access through our website. We limit each club to 5 applications per year. Each application has 2 stages to it, the letter of intent and the full application. We call the letter of intent LOI for short sometimes, and it's essentially a preliminary check-in. We just want to see that you're on the right track, that you have primary source citations that can back up your text, and that you're thinking about a safe location for the marker. So once we approve the letter of intent, you can then access the full application. You'll have a maximum of 60 days to submit the full application after the LOI is approved. Once you submit the application to us, just please be aware that evaluation can take a little bit of time. We may need to contact you for clarification or corrections. We will always work with you to fix things first. We never outright deny an application, and even if we have to deny it now, we always allow you to reapply so you can, keep searching for sources and reapply again in the future if needed. The evaluation and trustee approval stage can take anywhere from 1 to 3 months, depending on the volume of applications we have at the time. We do prioritize student-led applications, but at times we have a lot to work through. So we do try to fund all the applications we can as timely as we can, and I just wanted you to be aware of what the timeline there is. After approval by our trustees, the markers are then fabricated by hand at a foundry in Ohio. This takes about 12 to 16 weeks. So please also keep that timeline in mind when you're planning your dedication ceremony. So we also, one last note on this slide, we also have a student-led how to apply guide. It's included with both of our curricula, and I can send it to you just anytime if you just reach out to ask for it. It contains instructions for accessing the student-led applications, which are password protected. You'll have to enter a code in order to access them. Okay. So in addition to the how to apply guide, we also offer a couple of other guides that are designed to help you throughout the process. I particularly recommend the criteria guide as the most important one because this covers what will qualify under our guidelines for subject location and inscription. I also think that the tips list is very useful, not just because I wrote that one. It's essentially a compiled list of resources and places that you can locate primary sources. We really want you to succeed, so we've tried our best to provide as much support as possible. All of these are available on our website, but if you can't find something, just shoot me an email. I will send it to you directly. So I also wanted to mention our marker map on our website before I wrap up here. Every marker that we fund has a dedicated web page that is accessible through the marker map, as you can see here. Uh, so if you'd like to see examples of other student-led markers that have been granted in the past, you can search for them by using the drop-down Programs menu and selecting Pomeroy Education Program, or by keyword searching for student-led. And then this is what one of the pages looks like. Each marker includes such a brief, succinct story on it in the inscription. And so we write and share full-length descriptions for the fuller story on our website. And these can be accessed, as I said, through the marker map. Every student-led description has a credit line for the school, for the instructor, and for the students who worked on it. So as an example, pictured here is the description for Speedies, which gives more of the historical background, as well as some photos of the marker and the exact location. And then, as I mentioned way back at the very beginning, we do offer instruction sessions. We will visit a classroom virtually or in person. In the photo on the left, you can see one of my colleagues working on primary source evaluation with students at a school here in Syracuse. And then one last plug, I wanted to mention National Historic Marker Weekend, which we do every year during the last weekend in April. This is a dedicated weekend to encourage people to maintain and give their local markers a little TLC. So by coming out together as a community to show our public spaces some love, we can build our village a little stronger. And if you participate, please let us know and tag us online. So. Okay, so that's all for my quick overview of the foundation and our education program. I think now we're going to do the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Steve will be reading them out for us, and then either I'll answer them, or if Steve knows the answer, whoever knows the answer will answer them.
Yeah,
So,
great.
yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Anastasia. That was great. It looks like we have our first comment, and this may be for Anastasia or Bob. I believe it's from Andy. It looks like your history club put in a marker a few years back with another grant through your town, and your town founder, and you would like to do one for the founder's wife, Mary Dre, uh, and looks like you're looking for an email address to discuss the idea, and show a picture of the first sign, and would be happy to talk to the mayor, who's very supportive about this in a city park. Any comments on that, Anastasia?
Yeah, no, it's great that you already have support from the mayor. That always makes the
It always
land.
helps, right?
Yeah, that always helps. That makes the process go a lot faster. Um, but yeah, my email should still be up on the screen right here, and I'm happy to talk about it. Yeah, just shoot me an email, and we'll talk about it. Uh, yeah.
Great comment. Thank you for asking. Thank you for that comment. Open to other questions, comments right now. This is the Q&A portion, so please feel free. And I'll read it out loud for the recording, and we'll see if we can answer it for you.
Steve, I think there was another one just dropped in by Sarah Daniels.
There we go. Okay. Um, I sponsor several different clubs: History Club, Black Student Union, Jewish Student Union, Equality Florida. They may all be interested. Can they each submit an application just as long as it isn't more than five per school?
So technically, the rule is five per club, but if you wanted to email me and talk about the ideas that they had, we can. see about how many you want to do, how many is feasible for you, because it might end up being a lot of applications if they all do five. But technically, the rule is five per club. So,
Great, thank you. We have another question here. Could you please send a link to the student-led How to Apply guide you mentioned earlier?
yeah, sure. Um, yeah, that's a PDF that I can definitely um, share. Do you think we could send that out with the recording, perhaps?
Yeah, we could definitely do that. If you wanted
Okay.
to just pass that
Okay.
along to me, Anastasia, I'd be happy to
Okay.
send that out.
Yeah, that might be easier if
Hmm.
that's okay.
Hmm.
Then if I go
Not a
hunting
problem at
for it.
all.
Okay.
Great, we'll get all the information out to everybody. Other questions, comments before we roll into the next section here? Thank you, Sarah. I'll read your comment here. Thank you. That is a lot. I was thinking one each, since each of them have different subject areas.
That's probably going to be a lot more feasible and doable for you. Just the workload in terms of all the research you need to do and getting all the permission letters and everything, especially to start, one per club is probably going to be better.
Great follow-up. Thank you. All right. Um, Again, so Anastasia's email and contact information is up on this slide. Feel free to capture that and follow up.
And I'll just sort of sum up a little bit. I saw the video. Kevin was going to join us live, as I said at the beginning, but he could not, so he recorded this video. But um, he has had a history club now in Indiana at Frankton High School for, geez, they probably 15 plus years. They've been a part of the National History Club for many, many years, and they're always one of the stronger clubs, doing lots of different activities. They even came out to Boston this past October, but um, like I was saying at the beginning, like Anastasia and Steve said as well too, they got a historical marker last. They went through the process last winter into the spring, and and you'll see it in the video when we send it out. But Kevin was talking how sort of easy and smooth the application process was and how much the students learned. And, he said it was one of the more impactful things that they've done as a club in a long time because that historical marker that they put, I'm not sure exactly where in town it went, but he's like, that's something that anyone who was a part of it, anyone who's been in the history club, when they come back to town, a year from now, 5 years from now, when they're an adult, they'll always be able to see the marker and say, that's something I, had a part in bringing to my community, really. So it's never going to go away. So we'll send that video out when we send a follow-up. But that is, I don't see any more questions. So we're coming up. I know it's not quite 8:30, but 8:15. It's always better to let you out a little earlier than a little too late. So that's going to wrap it up for this evening. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Thank you to Steve. Thank you to Anastasia for setting this up, and Anastasia to you for presenting all that information. As you go forward, like she said, like Anastasia said, please reach out if you have questions. This is something that we hope that your clubs will choose to pursue. Because I really think this is something, as Kevin said, that will have a long-term impact on your students and that it just doesn't go away. It's always going to be around town. And like I was saying to Steve and Anastasia the other day, once I started working with the Pomeroy Foundation and, talking to them, every marker, and not necessarily historical markers from their foundation, but, markers in squares or streets or parks, I pay extra attention to who that person is now, really, because I'm just curious to know, oh, why is this park named after this person? Why is this square named after this person? So, it's our hope that you pursue this. Please be in touch with Anastasia if you are interested or just have follow-up questions as well too. And again, thanks for joining us this evening. And if I don't connect with you again in the next few weeks, I hope everyone has a great holiday season and a very happy new year as well too. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.